Hassan Saad Show. It's your host, Hassan Saad, and today we have a very special guest. I want to say welcome to Louise, the guru of online fitness industry and fat loss journeys. Make sure you hit her up. She's been in the market, or been in the industry for more than 20 years.
Yeah,
so that's a long time, a lot of great
time.
experience for you guys. And we're here to talk about fitness, women fitness. We're talking about weight loss journeys and a lot more about Louise. So nice to have you on.
Thanks, Hassan. Thank you.
Definitely. And if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Louise.
Yeah, so obviously been here in Abu Dhabi now for the past 10 years. Been working as a trainer for the past 20, giving away how old I actually am. And yeah, like focusing on fat loss, mainly with female clients here now in Abu Dhabi. It's going really, really well, getting people transformations, making them feel more confident, and obviously transforming their bodies and their minds.
Amazing. Yeah, and I've seen your posts, and you constantly upload weight loss journeys, and you see the before and after, and you're like, wow, this is some like really, really heavy transformation from people, and sharing their pictures like that. It's an interesting outlook to see your experience with them.
Yeah, and a lot of people do very, very well. As long as they listen to what advice I'm giving them and they follow what I say, they tend to do very, very well, yeah.
What's your story? So you said 10 years, you're a veteran in Abu Dhabi. So how did you get here?
Yeah.
What's your story?
So I was actually working on cruise ships before coming here, and I was doing that for a few years. And then my friend / tutor from Belfast, so he taught me my level 3 personal training diploma, was working here in Fitness First, and he messaged me to say that they were recruiting. Obviously cruise ship life was amazing, but it's not a long-term thing. You're not kind of settled in one place, and yeah, I ended up here in Fitness First working as a personal trainer. So that was my journey.
So you started off in Fitness First?
Started off in Fitness First as a personal trainer and worked my way up to management. I left there and opened my own sports facility management company. Then just before COVID hit, we sold that. So we were counting our lucky stars.
Oh, very lucky indeed.
And then I threw myself completely online.
Nice.
So it's going well.
Very nice. What was your experience like in Fitness First? And you worked your way up as a manager there. And what made you kind of open up your own? Was it?
I just kind of seen that there was a market for it, you know. Obviously 10 years ago compared to the way it is now was completely different. So I just seen that there was a gap there in the market for actual home personal trainers and things like that. So we pushed forward with that and done well.
Online, it's a different industry. I feel like fitness online, because you're really relying on the person to have a nice setup or be motivated without that online or that physical presence. How do you manage to keep them motivated?
The reason why I kind of went online, obviously as a one-to-one trainer, there's only so many people you can help, right? So I'll have a handful of clients, like 10 clients that I can kind of help and manage and get to every day. The reason why I wanted to kind of go down the online route is because then I can open that door to help more people and assist more people. It is a little bit more challenging, obviously, to stay on top of people and make sure that they're doing everything that you've set them, their habits, their goals, their training sessions, but it's definitely manageable. And everything I deliver is delivered through my online app. So I can see their movement, I can see their workouts, I can see their calories, I can see pretty much everything they're doing back end, providing that they're following it and tracking it and doing everything that I've set for them. So, I mean, some of my online clients are getting just as good results as my one-to-one.
Amazing.
But again, you have to have that motivation to get yourself to the gym and to do that on your own, and a little bit of knowledge as well.
So it works. There's a working formula for sure.
It's working, yeah, it's working.
But what would you say for a fat loss journey? Is it heavy exercise and, you know, putting in the work, or is it mostly the nutrition side of it, or how does it balance out?
It's a combination of both for sure. It's not, people think that you have to go to the gym, you have to absolutely kill yourself in the gym. And that's not actually necessarily the case. Your workout, if we're talking about fat loss, your workout accumulates to around 5% of your total daily calorie burn for the day. So what people don't actually understand is it's more than just a gym session. You need to focus on your movement outside of your workouts. Your nutrition is super, super important. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you hydrated enough? Are you getting enough protein intake? All these things need to come into consideration when you're in a fat loss journey. So just going to the gym and thinking that's going to help is not the case at all.
So, for example, someone like me, I box. I don't want to say on a regular basis. for those who know me, but regular basis. But I used to, but now I'm kind of maintaining. I'm not losing weight. I'm still trying to eat a low carb diet. I'm trying to count my calories, but they're not very specific.
Okay.
So I kind of go with the flow. I'm sure a lot of people do as well. But I seem to be stuck. Like it's I'm not sure if that's something that your clients also.
Yeah, and you kind of hit the nail on the head there when you said you're going with the flow, right? You're not actually tracking pretty much anything that you're doing exactly, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to track forever and you need to track your food forever, things like that, but it is a good starting point to kind of get you started. You need to be aware of your calories in versus calories out, you know? You need to be consistent as much as you can within your training sessions. You need to look at your movement, you know, what's your movement target throughout the day? Are you hitting that? Are you moving enough? And what I see here is a lot of people don't move enough, right? We're spoiled here, right? Nannies, maids, cleaners, cooks, and we tend to not move as much here as what we probably would if we were living in a different country, you know. We probably walked a lot in China, moved a lot. Yeah.
Like 20 plus thousand, 20,000, was it 20 plus thousand steps a day?
There you go.
Minimum.
Compared to what you're doing here.
1,000, like no, 5,000 steps.
5,000,
like
yeah. So you
steps.
really need to focus on that as well and look at your movement target as well outside of everything else.
How do you track it? Like, so for someone who wants to start tracking their macros and tracking their calories, what's the best advice?
So the best advice I would say would probably, if you have no background or nutritional education, is to get yourself a coach. Hire yourself a coach that's going to help you with this. We can give you meal plans, but you're not going to live by a piece of paper for the rest of your life, right? So you need to have that education around nutrition, understanding the different types of foods that you'll be eating, understanding you can still eat the foods that you enjoy, obviously within moderation when trying to lose fat, you know? And it's learning how to track and going back and forth there with the coach and understanding what works for you. Because there is no one specific diet that I can say will work for one person. It has to be one that's sustainable, one that you can adhere to, and one that involves the foods that you love. Because if I tell you now, Hassan, you can't have this, what's the first thing you're going to want?
No, that.
You're going to want that, right? You're going to want that food, and if I cut something out or I restrict you to what you're doing, you're probably going to overindulge in the future in that. So it's finding a sustainable diet that works for you.
It's funny you say that, because when I'm not on a diet and I'm just living freely, I'm not a sweet person. I am a sweet person, but I'm not a sweets person, right? So I don't like to indulge in chocolates, or I don't like to binge on, donuts and whatnot. But once I start dieting, the one thing I crave is the one thing I normally don't crave. Yeah. Chocolate.
Yeah. Maybe because someone's told you can't have that chocolate, you can't have that. Or maybe you're over restricting your calories a little bit too much, and then that's leading to your cravings and your hunger and things like that. So again, it's finding what works for one person might not work for the other, True. So it's finding what's sustainable, what works for you, and obviously includes the foods that you would be eating in normal life and enjoying, but within moderation.
So that's a very good point, in moderation, 100%. Going back to what you said, so hire a coach is a good advice for someone who has no knowledge on the weight loss journey and exercising. Yeah. So let's say I come to you and I say I need help in weight loss and I just want to transform, I want to live a healthy lifestyle. What's the end-to-end process with you if someone approaches you and they hire you for the coaching?
Okay, so first of all, they'll complete an application form. Right. And in that application form, they'll tell me their likes, their dislikes, their activity. They'll create a food diary for a few days, and then they'll submit that. And then it'll take me around 5 days to complete their plan, because it's a plan that's specific to you. Right. Now, I do give sample meals, but I don't expect you to stick to that. I expect you to track your food on MyFitnessPal. I can monitor that obviously through my app and through MyFitnessPal, and then we'll go back and forth. So over time, Hassan's creating his own meal plan of the foods that he likes, but obviously still staying close to the macros that I've set you, and making sure that you're staying within your calories and you're hitting your protein target is key. But allowing yourself 20% of your calorie intake for the foods that you love. For you want to have a piece of chocolate or a little bit of crisps, whatever it may be that you crave, allowing that little bit of flexibility in there tends to let people stick to it. And I've had clients come back to me and they're like, I don't feel like I'm dieting. And I'm like, that's because I don't want you to feel like you're dieting, Nice. What is a diet? The first 3 words of diet is die. That's an old thing, right? But we don't want you to be on a diet. We want to give you a sustainable plan that allows you to still see results.
I like that because sustainability is key because that's what is going to push you for the long run. And I've been on these military diets and the juice blend diets and the 3-day diet. My mom is shout out to my mom with the 3-day military diet.
What is that?
Like it's a 3-day diet where you in 3 days in a week you limit yourself to like 800 calories or 700 calories, like something crazy.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the 4 days you can kind of go up to like 1,200, 1,500.
Okay.
But those 3 days you're walking like a zombie.
You're dead, right? You're going, especially 3,000 or 800 calories is not enough. Not enough, no way. It's not enough. It's not enough for you. Not even enough for me, and I'm a tiny human, you know?
For an adult.
Yeah,
for an adult,
for
it
sure.
doesn't matter. Like I feel like 800 calories to anybody is crazy.
It's very, very low, and you shouldn't do that, you know? Your body needs a certain amount of calories to just thrive and get through the day. So,
for sure.
Yeah. And what happens with this is over-restricting yourself in terms of calories, or even going on, like you've mentioned a few times, low carb or keto or things like that. Keto, what are we doing? We're cutting out a food group, right? So we're cutting out carbohydrates, right? Low carb, you're limiting the amount of carbs. What you're doing is you're putting yourself into a calorie deficit, but in a different way. But you're over restricting yourself. So then, what are you going to crave? You're going to crave carbs, right? Or you're going to crave whatever you've cut out or you've been told that you can't have. So while they might work for the short term, it's not sustainable, and you'll not adhere to it. And I see my dad's done this many times, and again doesn't listen to me even though I'm a trainer and trying to advise him. He's went on the Atkins diet and he's lost 2 stone, like 28 pounds. Wow. What has happened after that? He's gained it all back because he hasn't built those healthy habits into his routine. So he doesn't know what he needs to do. So again, it's coming back to that education around nutrition and understanding the foods and understand that you can have them, but you need to have them in moderation. You need to be staying within your calorie target if your goal is fat loss, and not over restricting yourself because it's not sustainable. Right.
See, you would think balance is the easiest thing because it's right in the middle, but really it's easy to be extreme.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to be balanced.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's the sweet spot you want to be in. So earlier I was telling you how I gained a lot of weight by moving to China and whatnot. But the reason why I also gained, I think, about 10 kilograms on top of that. So I gained about 40 kilograms in 4 years. But one of the 10 kilograms that I gained in that year was because I went on a keto diet, and then I just gained it I just gained it back in the amount of time that I lost the kilos. I gained in no time.
You gained it back in no time. What did you do when you come off the keto diet? Went straight for the...
I couldn't help myself. Like it was just eating carbs, and it's like I was like, I'll carb cycle, but there was no such thing. It was just eating, and you just gain weight.
And it happens, and I see it happen so many times with 90% of people, you know, they've tried these crazy diets and they don't work. They work for the short term, but then it's not sustainable, and then they end up back to square one. So unless you have built those healthy habits, build that routine into your life, understand your food, have the education around it, understand moderation, understand balance, then you're never going to kind of see results
100%.
Moving forwards unless you can do that.
Definitely. When it comes to habits, that's a good point there. So how do you build habits or healthy habits when it comes to food and nutrition?
Well, first of all, I would say just around movement as well, not just food and nutrition, but getting yourself up, getting a morning routine. You know, getting into that morning routine where you get up, maybe you do a little bit of a walk or a little bit of meditation, a little bit of cardio, having a healthy breakfast. What really, really works for busy individuals is making sure you've got your meals planned the night before, or even meal prep a few days ahead of time, and then you've got your food there to take with you. Because what is it saying? If you fail to prepare...
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's it. So again, you're human. You're hungry. You're going to eat whatever's there.
That is
right?
true.
But if you've got your food with you and you've got a plan set for the day and you stick to those meals, more than likely you're going to stay on track with everything.
It's just so difficult to do that. Like I can't bring myself to meal prep. So my wife and I, it's just so difficult to kind of program that because we're so busy. Well, my wife is pregnant now, and we're expecting
congrats!
It. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Is this your first?
So it's
first time daddy. Yeah,
it's crazy. So things are kind of hectic right now when it comes to meal prepping and whatnot.
Okay.
So it's just so difficult, and I'm sure a lot of people are struggling with the same. So what's the best way to meal prep?
So what I would say, and this is exactly what we do on a Sunday, my husband's a really good cook, so I'm very, very grateful for that. But on a Sunday, we spend like 2 to 3 hours in the morning in the kitchen. We go get all our shopping on a Sunday, and then we spend 2 to 3 hours just prepping.
Nice.
Chicken goes in the oven, seasoned, cooked, that's it. It lasts for 3 days. Same with beef. Put it into a big Pyrex dish, that's it, lasts for 3 days. We cook our sweet potato, our potatoes. We have Greek yogurt that we'll have, and we'll just weigh out as we need, obviously with fruits. And veggies go in a Pyrex dish. So we cook everything in bulk, and then they go into the fridge, and as we need it, we take it out, we weigh it, we put it in we put it in little containers, and then we take it to work and heat it up. And it's so easy. The only thing I wouldn't suggest doing daily, or wouldn't suggest doing ahead of time, is your eggs. They need done daily. But it's just getting into that routine again, and it's building that habit. Like that's became a habit in our life now, that every Sunday we do that. We get up and we meal prep, and that keeps us on track for the week.
Amazing.
So it's just building that habit and that routine in.
So Sunday you would cook for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday you cook again for Thursday, Friday. Saturday.
Wednesday we would cook for Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday we have a little bit more time. So I mean, Saturday, Sunday would maybe eat outside, and we give ourselves a little bit more flexibility that way. Go to brunch, things like that.
Right, that makes sense.
But again, it's all about getting that routine, building it into your lifestyle, and then finding that balance over the weekend to make sure that you're staying on track.
Would you then recommend simple foods in the beginning? Because sometimes a lot of people get stuck in the planning phase, or it's like, oh, what am I going to cook? I want something variety. I want something more.
Yeah.
What's your advice?
I would say keep it simple. I eat the same thing, and it sounds very boring, but I eat the same thing every single day, Monday to Friday. Yeah. And it helps me stay on track, and it helps me with my routine, and especially someone starting out where they don't know the calories in their food, or they don't know. This is probably the easiest approach for them. Then when they get a little bit more educated, then they get a little bit more savvy with it, and with the meal prep and things like that. And the good thing about the app in which I coach from, and I give nutrition plans from, there's full recipes and breakdowns of everything there. Nice. So you'll get a 3-day plan of breakfast, lunch, dinner. If you don't like breakfast, you can substitute that for 10 different recipes. And at the weekends, you have a little bit more time, you can play around with those, and then they can become part of your normal routine, kind of Monday to Friday days as you get more comfortable with it, But it does take going into the week with a plan, especially when you're busy.
Definitely.
Otherwise, you're going to grab a sandwich, chocolate bar, snack at work.
The little knickknacks that just keep adding up.
And this is the problem, right? It's all these little snacks that people think don't have calories, and they actually do,
200 calories, 200 calories. And then you start, you forget the 200 calories that you ate, and then you're up to 800, and you're like, I just had
exactly,
snacks.
And you want to forget it, right? You want to forget that extra coffee, that extra. Your mind wants to forget those things. I would say definitely go into the week with a plan. It's super important if you're wanting to stay on track with your fat loss goals.
Right.
If that's not your goal, then it's completely different. It's completely different. Yeah,
for sure. So this is a dilemma to me. I don't know if it works for me or not. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Intermittent fasting. Sometimes I feel to me it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it's like amazing, and I will lose a little bit of weight every now and then. But then sometimes it's you lose track, and then you overeat. And what's your take on intermittent fasting?
So again, right, we spoke about keto. What are we doing? We're cutting out a food group, so we're obviously reducing the amount of calories we eat. We're putting ourselves into a calorie deficit, and it all comes down, the science of fat loss is the calorie deficit, right? True. With the intermittent fasting, what you're doing is you're closing your window to eat. So you're giving yourself a set time schedule to kind of eat. Should that be 12 to 6 or 12 to 8, whatever way you decide to do it? How were you doing it? Were you doing it at 8 hours, 6 hours?
So I stopped eating at 8. And then I start eating at around 1 p.m. So I think it's a 16-hour window.
Okay, 16 hours.
16-8 was it, I think?
Okay.
Those lines?
Yeah. There's a few different ways to do it. But all you're doing then is closing your window to eat. So you're restricting the amount of calories that you're eating throughout the day. So I have clients that's done it, and it does work for them, and it just helps them control their day. Am I a big fan of it? Probably not. How's your energy levels up until 1 o'clock with no food, things like that? You're okay?
I'm used to it, but is having a nice solid breakfast better? I feel like it takes away a lot of calories for someone who's kind of anxious about calories. That's another topic we can talk about, is anxiety around. Okay. So you're thinking cut out breakfast because this is going to help me reduce my calories for today. But breakfast is one of the most nicest meals of the day. Why would you want to do that to yourself? Honestly,
and how long could you stick to that? How long could you stick to not having breakfast? So again, if it works, if it's working for you and you're seeing results with it, stick with it. But if you're finding that you're really missing your breakfast meal, your energy is so low because you're not obviously getting your food throughout the day and kind of kickstarting everything. Right. count your calories, have your breakfast, and make sure that you're staying within a calorie deficit throughout the day, because no matter what way or how you go about it, it'll always come back to that calorie deficit.
So it kind of depends on the person whether or not they enjoy having breakfast or not having breakfast, but you recommend having breakfast because it's a solid meal in the morning, something that kind of gets you the energy going.
And your food is your fuel, right? Like,
for sure.
You didn't put gas in your car wouldn't go properly.
That's
right?
true.
It's the same as your body. You need to fuel it and get everything working properly. So
100%. Anxiety around counting calories, because honestly, I feel like a lot of people get anxiety, and part of the reason why I cut out breakfast is I ate 200 calories here, I ate 300 calories there.
Yeah.
And then because you're so stressed, stress makes me eat, and I'm sure a lot of people do as well. So how would you manage
I've
anxiety?
had a few clients like this where they're like, they just don't want to track. They don't, and that's absolutely fine. If tracking is not for you, that's fine. But we have to find a way in which we can see exactly what you're doing. You don't necessarily, like I say, have to track forever and have to count your calories forever. But it's definitely good in the short term for understanding what you're fueling your body with. But if it's giving you anxiety, I would say, okay, don't do it. Eat intuitively, don't eat till you're completely stuffed, just eat until you're like kind of satisfied. If that's working and you're still seeing results, then stick with that, and being aware, are you getting enough protein, things like that is super, super important. But if you have that anxiety and tracking your calories stressing you out more and leading you to eat more and turn to food, then I would say don't track. Don't track.
Interesting.
Don't track. There's many different ways you can approach it. But again, it's dependent upon the individual, and it's dependent on the coach to sit with the individual and do that initial consultation, understand where they're at and what works for them. But I love tracking. I love tracking everything.
For sure. No, that's awesome. I think tracking is important. I think it might reduce anxiety, but you see, personally, I feel like it's difficult to track because I'm the ADHD brain again, right?
Yeah.
It's very difficult for me to pick up a journal or write down my stuff or use my fitness pal and just keep up with my fitness pal.
Okay.
So I go intuitively, and then I end up gaining weight or not losing or maintaining because I'm not tracking things down. So I feel like personally, I should, and I think a lot of people should also, even if that might limit their anxieties around it, if they can see it on paper, but maybe.
Yeah, or like I say, you're not going to stick to that meal plan, that piece of paper that I give you, you're not going to stick to that forever. However, if you don't want to track and you just want to see results, if you stick to that, you're going to see results, because that's me putting you into your deficit.
Yeah.
Other options would be to have your food delivered from a meal prep company where it's already counted, it's already tracked for you. That could be another option where you go down that route. Again, it's not something long term, it's not something forever, but at least it'll give you an idea of the foods that you should be eating and the portion size, because a lot of people, I know in Ireland they weigh too much in terms of like their portion sizes are huge, so understanding the portion sizes and what your meal should kind of look like, that might work for you.
I think that's a good thing, or a good point that you mentioned is, especially in the beginning, at least hire someone, get yourself a nutritionist at least, or get yourself a company that sends you food, just because it's so difficult in the beginning. But once you get that, like you said earlier, once you start getting that knowledge around your nutrition, it then just becomes easier for you to kind of
Exactly. But I love getting the clients to kind of go away and track it on your own and understand it. And they'll come back to me and they'll tell me, oh, Louise, I didn't realize that nuts had this amount or this had this amount, or I've tracked that wrong. And it's good to see them understand. And then it makes them think then the second time when they go around, oh, maybe I should limit this or maybe, so it's teaching them, and then they're learning from you. You're learning, So it's a good thing to do.
It's an autonomous kind of thing for them, and 100%. That's also a good point to see, or a nice perspective. So going into so we spoke earlier. You provide a coaching accreditation or hours for people who want to become level 2 coaches in the industry, or personal trainers in the industry.
Yeah. So on side of the online business and working with fat loss clients, I have a fitness education company, myself and my business partner, who was actually the guy that brought me here. Yeah. So the guy from Belfast who was my tutor is now my business partner.
Very nice.
We both teach. We're a training provider, LJ Academy, and we teach Active IQ, level 3 personal training diploma.
Nice.
So any trainer that is kind of anyone that was wanting to become a trainer or a fitness instructor would obviously be level 2, personal trainer would be level 3, and this is recognized worldwide, this course. So it's an intense course. A lot of people come into it thinking, oh, this is going to be easy. And it's not, because you're working with people. You need to know the anatomy of the body, you know, the physiology, things like that, nutrition. There's so much science behind it that you need to know, and so much work involved in it. But it's great to see the students come through and progress and then go on to be successful coaches in the industry. So very, very passionate about that, and keeping our standards very, very high in the UAE and making sure that we're sending the best coaches out there to coach people.
Superb. So you there's an application process. You just don't choose anybody, or? Well,
as long, if you want to move on to level 3, you must have your level 2.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to just get started, you can get started entry level, level 2. Level 2, once you finish that allows you to go and work in the gym or on the gym floor as a fitness instructor, and then you'd move on then to your level 3, which is a little bit more in depth, and then that would allow you to become a kind of personal trainer. But Hassan, it just doesn't stop there. Like, that's the basics. Like, you need to then further your knowledge. Either should it be in posture, should it be in nutrition, should it be in strength and conditioning, whatever it may be. The fitness industry is constantly changing, so you need to constantly be upskilling and learning what's going on, you know, and doing your continuous professional development yourself.
You can't just stop.
You can't stop. You can never stop. I've never stopped from when I started. I've never stopped learning, never stopped, and I'm still learning. I love learning from people around me, you know.
There's always new science.
For sure. There's all these new things. As much as some things come out that are myths, there's all these new information coming out too. And as a coach, you need to keep yourself up there with that level.
Is there a pathway for men fitness and women fitness when it comes to personal training and getting your certifications and all that? Or is it the same? So let's say someone who wants to specialize only in women fitness and training women versus someone who wants to focus on that.
I think the main thing in women would be pre and postnatal. That would be the main, but no, like in terms of the level 3, it's for both. It's for both. Then you can kind of specialize if you want to go down the strength and conditioning route, or you want to focus on maybe pre and postnatal clients. I'm not too sure if there is a course out there specifically just for women. I want to say there's one in and around hormonal or something along those lines, but it's not something that we teach ourselves. Yeah.
Right.
I specialised in lower back pain, so I went on to do my level 4 in exercise and lower back pain. And as I said, when I came here, it was all fat loss. So I had to completely change my niche, and I love it. I love getting people results and seeing them more confident and feeling and looking better within themselves.
For sure. When it comes to the fitness industry and the fitness in general, how do you guide your clients? Is it more on a I don't want to say micromanaging everything, or is it providing them with a schedule? So what's the end-to-end on that? Like,
so
someone approaches you.
What I actually do, again, everything is through the app, okay? So their training program will be there, and they'll get access to video library of everything. So for example, if I tell you today, Hassan, you've got back squats, and you don't know what a back squat is, there's a video there.
Nice, okay.
Of every single exercise that you're going to do. It does, online coaching slightly different than one-to-one PT, because it does require a little bit of knowledge going into it. I wouldn't just have someone go in and do a back squat that have never been to the gym before, you know? Yeah. So again, it takes a good coach to kind of regress and understand that and progress the program. So the training program's delivered through the app. The nutrition plan, as I said, you've got your 3-day there of recipes, calories counted, everything. And I'll also give a PDF of sample meal plans, and then I'll let them track their nutrition, and I'll monitor that and see how that's going. They update their weight daily on the app, so we see the weight going on the app every single day, so I can track that back end.
So going back to the fitness aspect of it, so what are some myths around weightlifting? Because I know weightlifting for men and then weightlifting for women. Women sometimes say, oh, I don't want to gain the mass. And then they stay away from weightlifting at all. So what
I hear that. I've heard that a lot. Like, I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to look like a man. And my reply is, you're not gonna get bulky. You're not gonna look like a man. Believe it or not, building muscle mass is actually really, really harder than fat loss. And especially for ladies, they don't have the same levels of testosterone as what a man would have. So it requires consistency, dedication over years to build a massive amount of muscle mass, or significant amount of muscle mass, should I say. So a lot of ladies come and they say, I want that toned look. How you're going to get that toned look is by building lean muscle mass, you know, and stripping down the body fat. But yeah, definitely you're not gonna look bulky. You're not gonna look like a man by lifting weights. And it's crazy to see, like, a lot of females have came to me at the start thinking that, and now they're like, they want to lift heavier, they want to push more, they want it, you know. So it's just changing. It's again education, and then changing their mindset around that.
That's a good point. So you are not gonna gain bulk or
You are
mass.
not gonna get bulky, you know, and you're not gonna look like a man. Lift those weights.
So when it comes to maybe touching a little bit about nutrition, supplements like protein shakes, supplements like omega, I see that you review on your Instagram, you review a little bit of the protein shakes.
The proteins, yeah.
Do you recommend protein shakes? Do you recommend supplements like omega and stuff along those lines?
So what I would say, obviously you want to be getting your protein from your whole foods, right? So we have a husky.
There we go.
I have a husky coming in to join us. You want to be getting your protein from your whole foods, so your meats, your fish, your eggs, things like that. However, if you are struggling to hit your protein intake, you can supplement a little bit with a protein shake for sure.
Right.
I have one shake a day, and that helps me get an extra 25 grams of protein in that I'm not necessarily getting in from food. So yeah, it's fine to do, but remember that it is a supplementation. It's not something that you should just be adding in instead of your whole foods.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And again, working out what obviously works for you. Your goal should probably be around 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. That's kind of a good starting point of where you need to be at in terms of your protein intake. And if you're not kind of hitting that, obviously 2.2 is on the higher end. But if you're not at least hitting that 1.5, then maybe you need to look at a supplementation of a protein shake,
for sure.
But again, whole foods is the way forward for sure.
For sure, definitely. One thing I came across recently on one of the podcasts, Dr. Andrew Huberman, is the science behind fat loss. And something very interesting that he was saying was to burn fat, the science behind it is fat mobility. You got to move your fat, and then fat oxidization. And the best way to do that, or fat burning, is to increase your body temperature. And he's saying there's a lot of ways of doing that. And part of it is fidgeting, shaking, shivering. So when you're taking a cold bath, you want to be in that shiver state, and then your body is trying to warm itself up, and that burns fat. So I think they call it NEAT.
Yeah, NEAT, yeah.
So NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So this is anything that you do that does not involve kind of your exercises. So that could be, like you say, fidgeting, cleaning, cooking, going to the bathroom, walking upstairs, things like that. So obviously your job will impact your NEAT, right? So a lot of people that have desk jobs that sit down a lot, their NEAT will be very, very low. So we have to work around ways to kind of increase that NEAT and get them moving more. And this is one of the reasons why I believe a set target is key if the goal is fat loss, because then it forces someone to move a little bit more and to focus on the movement outside of their exercises. So obviously you've got your NEAT and your EAT. Your EAT is your exercise activity thermogenesis, and your NEAT is your non-exercise, anything outside of your actual training. And believe it or not, your exercise accumulates to around 5 to 10% of your total daily calorie burn.
Wow.
So again, coming back to the point where just going to the gym, if your goal is fat loss, is not going to do it for you. There's a lot of other factors that come into play, like your non-exercise activity, like your nutrition, so on and so forth.
Amazing. So you really have to move outside of the exercising routine.
You need to be moving outside of your exercise. And a good thing is just to keep an eye on where your movement's at.
That's amazing. That's amazing. NEAT, everybody.
Keep that NEAT up.
Nice. Honestly, I'm guilty of something I'm sure a lot of people are guilty of as well, is dieting throughout the week and maintaining yourself throughout the week, and then the dreaded old weekend comes and everything goes down the drain. So, what's your take on that?
You're not alone there. 99% of the people do exactly the same. And what they do is they'll put themselves in a deficit, or they'll control their food Monday to Friday. They'll be super, super good. And then come Saturday, Sunday, and everything goes out the window. They stop tracking. And that small deficit that they've put themselves into during the week has then brought them back up to their maintenance level. Right. And then this is where people struggle. And this is where people think, well, it's not working. I can't do this. It's impossible. And then that's when the binge starts again. And then that's an awful cycle of back and forth,
Right.
So to lose 1 pound of fat, you need to be in a 3,500 calorie deficit throughout the week. So that's 7 days, right? So that's 500 calories a day. Now that's one pound, 500 grams.
About, yeah.
So imagine you put yourself in a 500 calorie deficit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it's like saving money, right? You've saved that 500 Monday to Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, you've went and you just splurged it all and spent it all. And then that's where then you struggle to see results. So what sometimes works for people is calorie cycling and reducing the calorie intake a little bit during the week, a little bit more, should I say, and then allowing themselves or banking themselves a little bit more calories for the weekend so that they're still in that deficit of the week and they're still aiming for that 1 pound of fat or 500 grams of fat loss weekly.
That is something I think I'm going to start doing.
Yeah, but it does take going into it with a plan.
For sure.
Making sure that you're going into those weekends with a plan as well and having that solid plan and kind of sticking to it. And it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy social activities or you can't enjoy brunches, you can't enjoy your weekends, you can, but you need to plan it.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes
plan
sense.
It well.
If you don't plan, you will. If you
fail to prepare, you prefer to feel?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the one. Amazing. That is awesome. Where can we find you then, Louise?
You can find me on Instagram, _Louise Shields _ online coach. There's a lot of content out there around fat loss. So yeah, anything you kind of need or kind of need to know about me is there.
For sure. Is there also a website we can
There is a
include?
website. So if you click on the bio, that'll take you to the website where you can register your interest if you want to train with me. Yeah.
Awesome. First of all, I want to say thank you for all the viewers and all the engagement. The channel, again, has seen a lot of growth, so I appreciate all the engagement from everybody. If you have any questions, I've been saying your name wrong. I've been saying Louise.
Louise, it's fine.
Louise.
Louise, anything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You can definitely reach out to Louise. I'm going to leave the links in the description to her account and all that, and I'm sure they can approach you for fitness. What else can they approach you for? So there's...
They could nutrition, fitness, fat loss, if they want to build muscle,
Lose weight.
100%. Anything like that, anything around transforming your mind and body, I'm there.
For sure, get engaged because honestly, or follow the account or follow Louise. There's a lot of great material out there. So thank you so much for having or being on the show and for your time, Louise. And is there anything else you would like to add on our final thoughts for our viewers? Any tips?
Any tips? If your goal is fat loss, look at, first of all, your sleep, your hydration, your movement, and your nutrition. And then obviously factor in your resistance training sessions, make them a priority, and stay consistent and adhere to it.
Amazing. There we have it, folks. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Hassan.
Of course,
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time. Now get out of
See
here.
ya.
Thank you for watching the Hassan Saad Show. If you want to support this channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so whenever I upload, you'll get notified.